My role at General Motors went over about a 38.5-year period from 1970 until I retired in 2008. And during that period of time, I probably spent about a third of the time working specifically on Corvette, primarily the C4 Corvette and the C5 Corvette. The experience I had working on the Corvette was probably, if not the highlight, it was one of the best things I did in my whole career. Looking at the C6 427 convertible that I've been driving for the last few days, one of the things I like best about the car is the engine. That the LS7 engine, I think, is probably my favorite V8 that GM has ever produced. It's incredible output at 505 horsepower. It's a very, very light and compact engine. So not only does it give you the performance in the car, but it gives you reduced mass on the front, a lower CG. The driving dynamics of that engine are really impressive. So when you put it together in a convertible, you know, it makes a really nice driving experience. Just in the last few days, I had the opportunity to look at the new Dodge Viper, the SRT model and the GTS model, and they're really very impressive cars. And it kind of gives you an idea of not only what Dodge is doing with the Viper from a performance standpoint, but if you look at the whole market for high-performance sports cars, it kind of shows you where things are and where they might be going in the future. Looking at the Viper, obviously, it's a very high-performing car. It's also quite expensive and a very low-volume car. I would think that Chevrolet would be looking to compete with cars like that with, again, special models like they have now, like the Z06, like the ZR1. Those kind of models are very, very effective at competing with the highest performing sports cars in the world. I would really expect that Chevrolet is going to come out with a Corvette in the future here that's going to step up and really have everything that it needs to compete very strongly in that market like they have in the past. Things like getting the weight distribution, mass distribution, more weight at the rear of the car so that you can really take advantage of the power of the engine and really help out with the handling and driving dynamics of the car. Taking advantage of engine technologies to reduce the mass of the powertrain, to improve the weight distribution of the car, getting even better fuel economy than they get now with direct injection and cylinder deactivation kinds of things, variable valve timings, all of those things that are technologies that can really help to improve fuel economy, reduce emissions, I think are going to be really important. Even in high-performance sports cars, people really pay attention to that. So I think those are all things that I expect, or I would hope anyway, that Chevrolet would be pushing to make the next Corvette as competitive as possible and just really be an outstanding value in high-performance sports cars. You know, when we were doing the C4, when I was assistant chief engineer there, with the C4 going out of production in 1996, we felt it was really important to have some special models that would really mark the end of the C4 era and moving into the C5. What we were able to do with the Grand Sport was come up with an engine for 1996 that was a specific engine for the car for 1 year. And that's the kind of thing that doesn't happen very often in an engineer's lifetime. That's really a difficult thing to do because it takes a lot of work and effort to make that happen just for a small volume. There were only 1,000 of them made, both in convertibles and coupes. And this is actually the very first 1996 Corvette that was built. It is a pilot car, serial number 1, and I've had it since 1995, and it's been a really pride for me. I show it to people all the time. It kind of occupies a real special place at home in the garage, and I really enjoy it and can't see ever getting rid of it. I really think that everything that I did, whether it was working on performance vehicles, whether it was part of my racing experiences and that kind of thing, I think all of that together really helped me to focus on making everything really function the way it needs to for that all-important person, the driver, the passengers in the car. When I think about my greatest achievement at GM and the thing I'd like to be remembered most for, it's probably in the area of vehicle integration and the contributions that I hope that I made towards integration aspects of the vehicle to make the driving experience for the customer as pleasant and as rewarding as possible.